Hello, everybody. I'm Jocelyn Ho.
I'm Margaret Schedel.
I'm Matthew Blessing.
So today we are presenting women's labor. And as Carol said, it's a feminist project that repurposes old domestic tools to revalue traditional women's work through reimagining feminine technologies. Domestic tools are often kept away from the public eye, belonging inside home where women belong. In women's labor, domesticity is recast in a new light through the integration with new sound technologies, public engagement, and performative spectacle in an attempt to dismantle the split between public and private spheres. In the midst of the stay-at-home order during the pandemic, there have also been accounts of domestic responsibilities largely defaulting silently upon the shoulder of women. There hasn't been a time more opportune to interrogate the issue of domesticity and its associated invisible gender inequalities. So in summary, women's labor reimagines domestic tools into new instruments as a site of social, cultural, and musical exchange.
So the first instrument that we're working on for this project is the embedded iron. We designed this as an embedded acoustic instrument. What this means is all the components necessary, the sensors, the processor, the speakers, amplifiers, everything is embedded within the body of the instrument. It doesn't require any external gear. The drivers, transducers that are attached to the body cause the body to resonate, acting as a soundboard, giving it very acoustic, adding its acoustic color to the final timbre. And they're treated acoustically in live settings. If you need it to be louder, you will use stage mics and run it to the house rather than using lineouts. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my bedroom. So we're going to show off just a little bit of what we're playing with right now. As we said, the core sound design for this are some string samples that are going through a variety of guitar pedals, and the different fabrics are going to control the different parameters of those effects. So first, we just have a basic pair of jeans, which has a sort of overdrive effect associated to it. Contrasting that is a fairly simple white cotton shirt, which we took the effects off of since it's a fairly bland material. So it should be a much smoother timbre.
So what is your setup? are the elements in the iron going to an interface and pulling media from a computer? Is that,
So the sensors in the iron are a little LiDAR sensor that detects whether it's sitting on the board or not. And then this is the spectroscope. So it has a bright LED and 3 sensors on it that detect different bands of light, the intensities of different bands of light. And this is a little Artemis. It's basically an Arduino. And that is taking the sensor data and running it to a Raspberry Pi, which we're doing most of the synthesis and pure data on a Raspberry Pi.
so if you wanted to switch the instrument or the sound of the iron, is that an easy thing to do or a hard thing to do?
It depends on what you're trying to switch with it. It's a pure data patch. So if you're wanting to do some minor tweaks to it, it's quite quick. If you're wanting to kind of rebuild it from scratch, it takes some time. So,
And then, so that means you're working with libraries, right? Sound libraries?
no, so the core sound is just a couple of samples of, it's like a cello sound that I'm then running through different processings, an overdrive effect, a phaser effect, and an amplitude modulator.
So, this is that PD patch. So we have 17 numbers coming in from the sensor, and then we're mapping them to these various sliders. So what happens is you train it on a particular fabric. So you move these, you say that is this fabric. So if you have a new fabric, it's pretty easy to generate a new sound.
So I think that's wonderful. I think we'll do we'll hear from you guys again maybe later in the fall. And thank you so much for giving us the presentation and letting us know about your project. It was awesome.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Mhm.